Hey guys, so for most of the week I was really caught up and busy spending all my free time working on Clash of Wills. I put out like a really quick and rushed video for the Arbiters of Fate on Thursday, but I never really went back to it since then. But now we're going to be going back for some various different teams for the Arbiter of Fate, trying to do the final stage in 2 turns or less for the Mystery Crystal. I'm going to be doing multiple clears in this video. You can use the timestamps to skip around to the primary unit of each clear if you just want to see one clear. But I'm going to try various teams. I'm going to try to mix it up and not reuse a bunch of the same units if possible, except for Cetra Descendant Aerith. She's given free. She's very, very powerful, so she's going to come to pretty much all the clears, because everyone should have her at this point in time. But yeah, so we're going to try multiple clears, and I'm going to try to, for the most part, keep it as budget as possible. But for a few of them, to make the units work, we might have to use some good gear and all. But we're going to start with, of course, the Sephiroth Clear. It is his event. We're going to do a Sephiroth Clear. I'm going to do this team based on the idea that your Sephiroth is maybe only EX1. So, base form, we're not really bothering anything. Shift form is going to be using his event katana. Now we're gonna, like I said, we're gonna pretend like your Sephiroth is only EX1. Unfortunately, I cannot turn off the 500 ATK passive for EX2, but I'm not using his STMR, and we're gonna entrust him on turn 1, pretending like his LB did not start already maxed out. Anyways, we're using the cheapest gear I could fit on him. So his event katana. A free mask, a free chest. This is his Chronicle accessory. It gives 50% undead killer, which is, the boss is undead, so that's good for him. Storm kickers for the LB damage. We're using just a generic card. This is one of the free cards that is just given randomly in the pool. And then we're using, again, completely cheap gear. We're not using any STMRs. We're using his TMR. The Mightiest, this is a double hand and LB damage buff, or boost from the 5-star Squall, and then Buster Style from his best friend Cloud gives double hand. And this is the free version of the chain cap increase from the anniversary, or not anniversary raid, a raid we had like a month or two ago. Obviously, if you've got STMRs or Savior's STMR, use all of that. But we're going for a really budget build because Sephiroth is so strong he can carry it all by himself. But killers, he's got maxed Reaper killer and maxed LB damage because, like I said, it is his event. So the rest of the party is going to be Kenny Crow. Now everyone knows Kenny Crow is actually a demon in disguise, but this time he's not even trying to hide it. He is going for his full demon set to embrace his true nature. He's going to be our provoker with 300% dark resist, and he's on Diablos to cast the Imperil spell for a 100% dark resist on the boss. And again, we're trying to go super budget mode. If you've got better units than this, by all means, use it. Larsa is going to be our 3-star Entruster. I get so many comments saying I don't have Shira. Well, do you have Larsa instead? He does the same thing. He's the 3-star Larsa. He is going to be doing Entrust, and he's got a little bit of LB fill, Call of the Wild, and Bomb Spirit. He's just going to entrust 2 turns in a row. Like I said, remember, we're pretending like Sephiroth is only EX1, so we're going to entrust him on turn 1 with Larsa. If your Sephiroth is actually EX2 or 3, you don't need Larsa to do that, but you will have to entrust him on turn 2. Blue Mage Fina is here to fill Larsa the rest of the way, because we're not using the brush. If you have the brush, the Dragon's Brush, absolutely use it. Then you won't even need Fina, but that's a limited item. You might not have it. So we're going to use Fina, the blue Fina, to double cast Bursting Cheer. This is going to fill Larsa's LB, and then Larsa's going to pass that LB over to Sephiroth, so we can entrust on turn 1 in case yours is only EX1. That's all Fina is here for. And then Descendant Cetra Aerith is naked. She's a tag chainer. Everyone has her EX2 at this point. So she starts with her LB already filled. Make sure it is leveled to 40 so it starts at max level. Okay, let's go in here and get it done. So the boss, as far as attacks, the boss on turn 1 only does single target dark magic. And with 300% dark resist, you'll be immune to it. And Kenny Crow is immune to it. Okay, so Like I said, my Sephiroth is EX2. He starts with his LB good to go. But if yours is EX1, what you would do is Blue Mage Fina would double cast Bursting Shear, and this will fill Larsa the rest of the way, and then Larsa will entrust to Sephiroth. Unfortunately, I can't entrust him with a full gauge, so we're just going to entrust it to Fina. It does the same thing. Kenny Crow is going to imperil the boss, and then Aerith is going to shifted LB with Sephiroth's shifted LB. Now, when you're sending these two LBs together, you have to always make sure you click Aerith first. You can send them at the same time, but make sure Aerith is the first person clicked, so her buffs will apply to Sephiroth, and you'll get the bonus damage. So Sephiroth is a stacking LB. It's going to take us 2 turns to kill the boss, I assume. I don't even know. We'll find out. Let's see. Okay, 2 turns to kill the boss. Not a problem. So Kenny Crow is provoking the magical dark damage. So there we go. He is immune to it because he is a super demon. Anyway, Blue Fina is now going to, once again, double cast Bursting Shear so we can fill up Larsa. And now Larsa is going to entrust to Sephiroth. He will LB again, and then Aerith will just quad tag chain to cap it. So when you're quad casting Aerith's chain, click her like a second before Sephiroth, and then click Sephiroth. So click, and then click again, and that will cap it. And yes, so, you know, this clear may have been kind of a waste of time for me to make a video about, because as you can see, if you own Sephiroth, you are probably not having problems with the Whisperers of Fate or the Arbiters of Fate. Sephiroth completely demolishes this fight. It is his fight. It is designed to sell you Sephiroth. And yeah, so, you know, damage breakdown, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, that was the Sephiroth clear. Now we're going to go to another clear if you don't have Sephiroth, but you do have a different unit. Let's move right along. Okay, guys, this time we're going to be doing a Tifa clear. This is for those of you that pulled on Tifa, got her, but you didn't get Sephiroth. Tifa works for this fight as well. Now, she does require a little bit more help because it's not her fight. The boss is not weak to water. But we're going to use this team, and this is going to use an EX2 Tifa. So you probably could make an EX1 Tifa work. It would require some team changes. But this team is going to assume your Tifa is EX2 or better. So Tifa is going to be built for Undead Killer. She's using cheap gear, no STMRs. We're going very low end on Tifa, but she is EX2. So she does have her own, 1 copy of her own STMR. So she has double knuckles, the Celestite helm, the free chest. Again, she's using the Chronicle Undead Killer bracelet. She's using her own STMR because if you have her EX2, you've got at least 1 copy. So we're using 1 copy of her STMR, an attack power card, and we're using some LB damage and some Undead Killer. You know, no STMRs, but it is still an EX2 Tifa, which I realize is, you know, we're increasing the price of this clear. Maxed LB damage, maxed Reaper Killer. Aerith is, again, just completely naked. She's a support chainer. Conch, completely naked. She's going to be for imbuing Dark to Tifa, imperiling Dark to the boss, amplifying Dark for Tifa. We're also going to amplify Water for Tifa and imperil the boss to Water because Tifa is going to LB twice in a row. We don't have any time to do her Magnus, so we're going to be doing that. And yeah, that's all she's going to do. She's going to imperil and imbue Dark and Water together to make us Tifa deal more damage. Regis is going to be here for LB fill and his Undead Killer buff. And I might be going way overboard here on damage. I don't know. This might be way more than we need. I don't know. Anyway, Power of Kings, we're going to be doing him for the Undead Killer buff. And then we're going to be doing LB fill so we can entrust on turn 1. Galoof is going to... This is the 3-star Galoof evolved to 5-star. Because that gives him passive provoke, which allows him to be 100% provoke with just the Moogle Charm. He's got 300% Dark Resist. He's going to be entrusting on turn 1 and 2. Call of the Wild and all that. He has a 14 size LB gauge, and he's got 12 LB per turn. So basically we're going to do the exact same thing we kind of just did, but we're doing it with Tifa now. And Tifa does require a little bit of a strategy change. But anyway, let's get a 2-turn clear in with Tifa. Okay, so again, we're assuming your Tifa is EX2, which means we're going to be LBing on turn 1. So Regis is going to go ahead and triple. We're going to do Power of Kings for the killer, King of Lucia's Intervention for the LB fill. That's to fill up Galoof. And then it doesn't really matter what else. You can just use other cooldown. It really doesn't matter. So there we go. That fills Galoof the rest of the way. Conch is going to triple. We're going to imbue Dark and Imperil Dark, imbue and Imperil Water. And then it doesn't really matter what else you do. Like, those two are the only ones that matter. So we're going to do that. That imperils and amplifies and all that. Now Aerith is going to shifted LB, and Tifa's going to shifted LB. And same thing as with Sephiroth. You're going to send them at the same time, but make sure you click Aerith first when we do this. Now, this is going to deal less damage than Sephiroth did, but it should be okay. Let's go ahead and deal some damage here. And these two chain together. Okay. Like Sephiroth, Tifa is a stacking LB unit. She'll do more damage next turn, so as you can see, we're going to win. But now here's the important part. We need to get... Aerith's regular tag chain will not chain properly with Tifa. It's got to be Aerith's LB. So we need to entrust both of them. So the way we're going to do this is at the end of the turn, Galoof is going to entrust to one of them. Doesn't really matter which one. We'll entrust to Aerith. Now Galoof is going to regenerate most of his LB gauge. Not all of it, though. Most of it. And he's passive provoking for the dark damage. Okay, now Regis is going to double cast. One of these fills LB gauge for the party, and I don't know what it's called. I should be able to find it pretty quickly, though. I think one of these fills LB gauge for the party. I could be mistaken. Uh-oh. I thought one of these filled LB gauge. Give me 1 second. I'm going to go through all these. Who fills LB gauge? Anyone, please? Nope. Nope. Oh, I might have been mistaken of this. Oh, this clear might have been wrong. Oh, well, okay. None of these apparently fill LB gauge. We're going to just hit the boss twice, and we're going to... Okay, so what we should have done... what we should have done is given someone Lion Emblem. We're going to just hit the boss twice. And we're out of mana. And we're going to go ahead and entrust Galoof and to Aerith, or Tifa, and we're going to pretend and hope that we get it all the way. Okay, we did. Okay, so what we should have done is given Regis or Conch the Lion Emblem to fill LB gauge the rest of the way. Okay, so mistakes were made there. We had to rely on a little bit of RNG, but we did get it, and there was the kill with Tifa in 2 turns. Yeah, so bring a way to guarantee filling a little bit of extra LB gauge on, or you can use a better entruster like Shira or something with the Dragon's Brush, and then you wouldn't even need it. So as you see, Tifa obviously deals less damage than Sephiroth, even though she was geared better, and EX2, etc. But yeah, as expected. Anyway, let's move along to another clear. See you in a moment. Alright guys, next up we're going to be doing a Zidane clear. So now we're getting to the clears that are getting pretty expensive. Zidane is, this is going to be a clear if you didn't pull for either of the premium units, but you don't want to do the Aerith Reflect strategy. And by the way, we're going to do a revised version of the Aerith strategy at the end of this, so keep that in mind. If you're looking for like the real budget run, it'll be the last clear. But Zidane's going to carry this one. So Zidane has really good gear. He is geared like this. Double Chronicle, Undead Killer, LB damage, etc. He is perfect geared. Maxed Reaper, maxed LB damage. Adele, naked. She's going to be Entrust, Dark Imperil, Dark Amplify. Ling is using Dragon's Brush, TMR, Call of the Wild in both forms. She's going to be for Dagger Imperil and... what's the other? Oh, the Undead Killer. Duh. Yes. Shadow is going to be for our Provoker. We've given him 300 Dark Resist. Not passive Provoke. We're going to use his active Provoke instead. He's also going to be a source of Dark Imperil. Aerith, as always, naked. And then Zidane, we showed Zidane. Okay, let's get a two-turn clear in with Zidane if you happen to own him. He's a little bit trickier to use. He needs more buffs to make this work, but we're going to do it. Okay, so Adele is going to triple. We're going to imbue Dark to the party. We're going to Madam's Encouragement on Zidane, and then it doesn't really matter what else we do. Just whatever. Ling is going to shift, and we're going to do triple. We can't do all her buffs on turn 1, so we're just going to undead kill her, and then Magnus and I don't know, Passionate, doesn't really matter. Shadow is going to double or triple, doesn't really matter, triple, double, whatever you want. We're going to Illusion Maneuver for the provoke, and we're going to do Shadow Dart for the Dark Imperil. There we go. Aerith is going to shift to LB, so is Zidane. Alright, so for this one, Zidane's LB hits a little bit quicker than Sephiroth and Tifa's. You gotta click Aerith like a tiny bit before Zidane to get a nice proper cap, but not too long, because Aerith LB is a relatively short chain. So we're gonna click Aerith, and then click Zidane like almost immediately afterwards. That should cap around right there. There we go. So it seems like we didn't do that much damage, but he's stacking up, and we're going to be getting the Dagger Imperil of this clear this turn as well. So we're going to Enthrall for the Dagger Imperil this time. We're going to Encouragement on Zidane to fill him up, and then Aerith will just quad Flame Fang. And this time we're going to send Aerith a lot sooner than Zidane, so we can get a nice perfect cap at the end. So send Aerith, wait, send Zidane. And there is your clear with Zidane. Zidane is a stacker like most units these days. So there we go, 2-turn clear with Zidane. With Ling and Shadow and Adele and Aerith. So Zidane definitely needs a little bit of hand holding to solo that one in 2 turns. But he got it done. As you see, the damage dealt, we're dealing less damage, total damage per clear, and the gear required is going up per clear. So as you can see, if you own the premium units, it's real easy. They can do it with lower gear thresholds. If you don't own the premium units, you need better gear and strong teams to make it happen. But it is still happening. All right, let's try another clear and see if we can continue this going. See you in a moment. Alright guys, for the last one in this video, we're going to do another budget run with Aerith. This is basically the same idea as the previous budget run, but I read some of the comments. I'm going to try to change some of the stuff that people are having problems with. So for the first thing we're going to do, also I'm gonna really deeply explain what's going on, because I've been reading a bunch of comments on websites and stuff, people saying, oh, I tried Sinzar's video and I did half as much damage. What happened? I'm so confused. So I'm going to try to explain step by step what's going on in this budget run. So we're going to be doing Aerith in the base form. She is going to be reflecting Holy. Okay, so one of the most common problems people have is they did not enhance their Holy. You have to go to the enhancement menu and get a +2 Holy. That's going to boost the damage dramatically. That makes it AoE. It's very critical your Holy is +2 enhanced. Something else you want to do is make sure your Aerith is door potted for MP and Spirit. So that's 32 Spirit door pots, 75 MP door pots, and fully stat pot her for Spirit and MP. Both of those are important for Aerith dealing damage with Holy Element. Her gear scales on MP and Spirit together. And also, we're going to be using a Rod in Peril during this clear, which means we want to use our best rod, not a staff, a rod. Lots of people I see are using Folka's STMR, oh, it's a really high Spirit staff with lots of MP. It should be great for Aerith, but it's not. The problem is it's not a rod, so you're losing 35% flat total damage from the Rod in Peril with Realm. Now, if you're not using Realm, of course, staff is fine, but we are using Realm in this player to boost our damage. So the best rods in the game for Spirit are, the best one is 7th Nirvana. If you own this, wonderful. Put it on Aerith, it's very good. This is a limited Neovision's STMR, so we're not using this in the budget run for obvious reasons. If you own it, go for it. Another option is technically Luna Freya's STMR. It's a okay-ish Spirit Rod. The problem with this one is the passive doesn't do anything for Aerith. You probably got a magic enchantment on this, so it's not really that good, because what you really want is her +3 Chronicle. This is a rod. It's only got 103 spirit, but it's a rod, so it gives the full damage bonus from weapon in peril, but also it gives Aerith 50% spirit, which is helpful for gearing. Also, you can dedicate all your item world enchantments to MP. Now, mine is not really the best roll. I didn't spend a ton of time because I do have Shui Yi's STMR, and for my personal use, I'll be using this almost always. So this one, I farmed an item world for a long time to get 15 spirit, 10 MP, and the rare for 20 more MP. But I only ran the guard rod once just to get something on it for budget videos. But if this is your only option, then try to get as much MP as possible from item world. Anyway, you also do not want to be using a shield in her offhand, because using a shield will have the effectiveness of a weapon in peril. I know a lot of people say, like, oh, but you used a shield in your very first budget run with Aerith 3 weeks ago. That was because back in the day, we didn't have her EX2 yet, and we weren't using Realm on the team, so we weren't using her rod. But now we've got rods, her guard stick +3, so we want to stick to a double-handed rod build for spirit. The rest of her gear, I'm using budget gear, so we're using Royal Circlet because it's just, a high spirit hat with some MP on it. Probably the best budget option would be the golden hairpin, but it's a limited item, so I didn't want to use that in this clear. There's also better STMR options like Ayaka's STMR, Dressy Ayaka's, or Kimono Ayaka's STMR. For the chest slot, probably the best item is I can't say this name. Amikalu. Yeah, Dark Fina's STMR is probably the best option for the chest slot. It's a decent spirit robe. It's also got 30% MP on it, which is really good. If you own that, if you don't own that, just get the best MP and spirit chest you can. We're using the free Chronicle gear from the Final Fantasy XI Chronicle for this. You always want to use her STMR, so that's just a given. She is EX2 for everybody, so use that. We're using her Chronicle accessory. This gives spirit. It also gives, again, magical Reaper Killer for this fight, which is great. Vision card. I decided to skip the best vision cards for her because, again, I'm trying to go more budget. The best one is probably Leviathan Nicole's budget card, if you own it. Actually, well, the best is probably her own vision card, honestly, but I don't own that. Leviathan Nicole's vision, or Lord of the Seas Nicole's vision card is this one. That's probably her best option. Memories Below the Surface, because it gives MP, and MP is really important on Aerith. If you don't own this one, another good one is Yoshikiri's card, because it's very high spirit, and it gives spirit double hand, which is great for her. But again, I'm trying to avoid the best possible cards, so we're going with Janky Kyrie's card, the Papalos Fruits Bond, because it gives a little bit of spirit. There we go. And another option, if you don't have this either, is the original Aerith's card. This one, I don't think I ever leveled mine. Oh, I did level mine. This one can work as well. It gives spirit with a rod, but it's just slightly less spirit. So yeah, we're going with the third best option. So there's that. And then materia, we're using Ghost Eater Sense. I put a video out 2 days ago showing a very easy way to get this materia if you don't have it yet. It's from the Scorn of the Erinyes trial. Another option is the Beach Party. This gives, again, Spirit and MP. This is Shoreline's TMR. Future Emperor, 50% MP from Ray of Hope Larsa. Legacy of the Ancients. I think this is actually an event item, but it is really good for her. 50 Spirit, 30 MP, and yeah, that's going to be Aerith's build. We're going to Reflect Holy twice. Now, another thing we're going to be using is a Tag Chainer. Now, I used Reno in the previous video, which he works fine if you have him. But the easiest, or the one of the okay, let me start over. One of the problems people are having is mistiming Aerith's capping. Holy is I'll just be honest here, Holy is really irritating to properly cap because it is so slow. It takes a lot of practice. But if you can use a physical tag chainer that uses multi-element weapons, it builds the chain quicker. That way it is much more forgiving on the timing. I used Reno in the past. Reno is a magical tag chainer. Those tag chains cannot be boosted in speed, but physical tag chainers can be by mixing elements. So we're going to use Biggs and Wedge as our tag chainer. Now, this is limited gear. If you don't have these, you can just use a double element chain by using like a single element weapon in both hands. But we're going like all in for the multi-element weapons. We're going for Necro Dagger for fire and dark chaining, Lion Saber for wind and earth chains. We are quad element chaining, which means his tag chain will be maxed modifier after like I think 4 or 5 hits. If you're double element chaining, it'll be maxed modifier after like 9 hits. So close enough. They also preemptively cover, so we're going to be giving them some dark resist, a little bit of bulk. The boss is very weak. You don't need that much dark resist, so this is, plenty. We gave him some dark resist with Imperial Crown, the Demonic Mail, the Angel Earrings. Also, give him Aurora Scarf from Lightning to make him hit even longer on his tag chains. He needs a Source of Dual Wield. We gave him equipped swords. We can use Lion Saber. This is optional. If you don't have the equipped sword, just give him a different elemental weapon. And a little bit of bulk, just so he survives easier. But the boss does so low damage, it's going to be fine. Sylvie is going to be for doing her Amplify. She needs her TMR equipped, and another very common complaint I got was, my Sylvie can't triple cast on turn 1. You've got to enhanced all pinned up. This needs to be enhanced to +2, her passive. So go to the enhancement menu and max out the all pinned up passive. You also want to enhance her Hop to the Rescue skill. This is going to give a big spirit buff for Aerith, and it's going to break the boss so he does less damage because we're not really using a serious mode tank. The rest of her enhancements aren't super important, but yeah, so there you go. That's what she needs to have. Realm just needs a little bit of HP because we're going to be using her LB fill on the second turn. But anyway, she's here for Rod in Peril and Undead Killer. And then Marie. So we have 2 options for the Reflect. We're going to be using Reflect both turns this time. Another criticism I got was you don't own enough sources of Esperfill gear to summon Carbuncle for the Reflect. Which is fair because it is very specific gear needed to Reflect and summon Carbuncle. If you do have the gear like Draconian Fiend's TMR, Isaro's TMR, Silka's TMR, and you can summon Carbuncle, do that. If you don't have enough Reflect or Auto Esper gear, you can use Marie. Now, the reason I didn't want to use her in my first clear is because she's an old unit that is no longer in the pool. So she may as well be considered a limited unit at this point. But if you have her, she can also AoE Reflect with her Limit Burst. Now, it gets cheaper the lower level the LB is. You want to make sure her LB is like at least level 25, I think, or 26. So it costs less, and you can do it on turn 1. So we gave her the Dragon's Brush and the Call of the Wild. That'll give her her LB on turn 1 for AoE Reflect, and then on turn 2, we're going to refill her LB with Realm, which is why Realm needs 8,000 HP or better. Okay, all the talking, all the explanations. Let's go in here and do it now. Okay, so to start off, Realm is going to double. We're going to Rod in Peril, and we're going to Undead Killer Sketch. Sylvie is going to triple. We're going to do the Magnus on Aerith. That's a 30% Holy Amplify, which is boosting her damage quite a bit. We're going to Hop to the Rescue on Aerith for the Spirit buff, and then we're going to Glitter Egg to Imperil the boss to Holy. So do all that. Alright, Marie is going to LB to Reflect the party. The tag chain on Biggs and Wedge is their normal attack, so we're going to click them, but not yet. Aerith is going to in the base form, Aerith is going to single cast Holy, and we're going to target our own team and cast it. And once it starts to drop from the sky, we're going to click our tag chainer. Biggs and Wedge is a quad casting tag chainer. It's a relatively long chain, so it's pretty easy to cap, and because they're multi-element chaining, the timing is very forgiving. So we're going to target our team. We're going to send this. We're going to wait until you see it drop. We're going to wait. There it is. We go ahead and drop, and then it'll cap. Okay, there we go. So we did a large amount of damage, as you can see. So we reflected. So here's some dark. Like I said, the boss does extremely low damage. So we covered it with Biggs and Wedge. They took 100 damage. Now we're going to use Sylvie to give an elixir to Aerith. I should have mentioned, put elixirs in your item inventory. Hopefully you always have them in your inventory anyway. We're going to just reload these. We're going to use Realm to double cast Masterpiece Sketch. This is going to refill Marie to LB. We're going to use Marie's LB again to AoE Reflect. We're going to target our own team. We're going to cast Holy. And we're going to wait until it starts dropping from the sky. And as soon as you see it coming down from the sky, go ahead and click your chainers. And boom, there goes Whisper Bahamut in 2 turns with a budget build for the most part. Yeah. So we did 70% per cast by reflecting it twice in a row. This time we did not use any Esperfill gear whatsoever. We didn't even use Carbuncle. People kept saying, you know, I'm not far enough in the story to own Carbuncle. There's a way to do it without, although, I mean, to be fair, those same players that don't have Carbuncle probably also don't have Marie. But yeah, we did 2.8 billion. So there was like, how many clears did I do? 3 clears, 4 clears, 5 clears. There's a bunch of different team clears on the Arbiters of Fate EX. Hopefully at least one of them you can pull off. The first 2 were relatively budget, although it used premium units, which is just by default not budget, but the gear was budget. Who else did I use? Zidane. Yeah, the Zidane Clear was not budget at all. He was fully STMR'd out, but it wasn't using any premiums. And then this was the budget run using extremely cheap gear, mostly free stuff, and old units. So hopefully one of these clears can help you get a run in. Okay. See you guys next time.